Hello everybody, it's Andy Mack again here. Just rewriting out my 2mm terrain for my American Civil War second Manassas, well, first and second Manassas battlefields. Obviously, you may remember I used cardboard in the main for the hills in a sort of contouring way. Then I used decorator tape and also some filler, a little bit of filler for the hills, and then I covered it over with PVA and kitchen towel. The dark spots you can see are just where I was experimenting to see if the kitchen towel, what does it say? Blitz, circles saying blitz, if that template would come through, but I don't think it does, so it should be fine. So yeah, I was just experimenting with that. So what I'm doing now is re-putting on the details that I need to know for where things are. So, you know, like the Manassas Gap Railroad, the Bull Run, obviously the hills I've just listed. You've got Stony Ridge here, and Stewart's Hill, Stony Ridge, and then it's like there's a slope up here. The railroad cut runs along here, and that's the area where they did the, I don't remember what it's called now, the deep cut, that's it. So that's actually got a sort of slightly deeper contour there. And then, yeah, and there's a slightly ridged up here where the artillery fired down from the Confederates. So yeah, that's should be fun. So I'm going to start painting that up and getting it all done. I've been slightly delayed. I had a death in the family, and I'm the executor of the will, so it's been quite involved running down to Lyme Regis and back. I was down there earlier today. You may have saw I did a short in the area between Axminster and Lyme Regis, where it said the Devonshire militia was positioned, but either withdraw or fled, however you want to interpret it. I don't think they played any more part in the campaign. So, and it was suggested that quite a lot of the there was quite a few desertions as well at the time. So, I think it was Somerset and Devonshire militia, but it was all in that area, and I thought I'd just do a quick film of it. It was some sort of little details that people perhaps are unknown, or if ever in the area, they can make some inquiries themselves. But yeah, so I think it was Cook Lane is a lane that is in the area where if you were to confront Monmouth as he approached, well, it would be in that linear line. So although I said Cook's Lane, it's also the areas it would have been back in the day, fields and whatever systems. But in there, it's about 4,000 militia troops, so it's quite a lot. But there wasn't any. I don't think there was much bloodshed. There was a bit of skirmishing, and that was it. And then they just withdrew or fled. I think there was mention of smallpox, but I don't know, that might be just an urban myth thereafter. You know, more recently people mentioned that, but because I haven't found where that came from, but it's certainly something I was told. Anyway, but you get a lot of that with British battles. But it might be a skirmish I do once I start my campaign. So what else have I been doing? Oh, I went to warfare. That was fun. It's a little bit. I had a few. In terms of time, I had arranged to meet a friend to watch the rugby. I was invited to go and watch the rugby at his. He's got a shed which has got a fuel burner stove, and he actually has a bank of computers as well. We have to sometimes do LAN games there, which was quite fun. A crowd of us, but it's sort of man shed, is it what they call? But it was, yeah, we went around and watched. I'm not a big rugby fan, but it's nice to have just meet I haven't got many friends in the area, but the friends that I have, it's nice to meet up with them and have a bit of a social when these things are on, and we did, and it was very nice. Good afternoon. However, I had planned to go to warfare sort of late morning. So it gave me plenty of time there. But as it happened, one thing after another, I I didn't get there till sort of early afternoon, and chaotic me hadn't read the web page or anything like that, and I don't know why I didn't. I was silly, but I didn't take any money with me other than my bank cards and phone and things. So I got to the door and they said, "Oh, it's cash only," and I thought, "Okay, fair enough. I should have realised that. I've been to it before, and I'm sure probably cash was the case then." But for some reason, I don't carry cash much these days, so I had to go back to my car and drive around the area looking for a cash point, which I did. If I did find one, but the traffic was bad, and of course you then arrive back and you think, "Well, lost a lot of time now to completely catch up to go and see my friend for the second half of rugby." I agreed to see the second half, and so I could go to Warfare in the first part, and so I did, and yeah, it was okay. It was to say it was a little. I was a bit overwhelmed, but the tables, you've probably heard other people saying about it, but it was a good event. Lots of traders and lots of competition games, and it's good to see the volume of people taking part. I mean, it was vast, and it was everyone was a lot of sort of middle-aged people, which is the tradition of wargaming. I think it always probably has been a bit like that, but yeah, but it was a big sort of gymnasium conference area full of tables. There wasn't much. I mean, I did have a walk round, but I get a bit dazed with these things. It's all quite intense. There was a lot of people when I arrived. It did thin out, and I presume a lot of people went to go and watch the rugby. But it was England, New Zealand, if for those who don't follow rugby, which England had a good chance to win it, and in fact they did. So yeah, it was a big day for rugby. But yeah, so it was. I don't know. I didn't really see anything that really caught my eye with a wow factor. Much of this, there's quite a lot of games of average. Average, I thought. I didn't see hardly any games that really struck me as being fantastic. There was all the ones that were good. When looking at them, I did sort of. There was a few things I thought, and they've gone a bit too much with that, or not. And I won't go into detail which ones they were because it'd be unfair. But yeah, so I didn't really see anything that really grabbed my mind. And there was a lot of people taking part. Yeah, and I had met a few friends there, and also some YouTubers, which is good. Met YouTubers. That was quite fun to see. And yeah, had a sort of quick powwow as you do, and it was good to see them. So that was good. And well, so yeah, and what I bought there, I was going with the idea of looking at rules, but that's one criticism of a lot of the traders. There are some, like Pendraken, I thought was very good. Pendraken. It's quite organised, and you can sort of, the rules are in one section. It's very clearly rules, and the figures are displayed, and they're sort of displayed in quite clearly marked, colonials, ancients, so on. It's very easy to find what you're after. I did actually buy some Pendraken. I was after colonials. I wasn't sure whether to go sort of Zulu War or well, any of the periods. I'm very interested in Indian Mutiny, Zulus, but I went for Madhist in the end and bought 2 packets, army packs of Madhist. So it was £100. So I thought that was enough to be getting on with. And yeah, so I like the Pendragon. Some of the traders were a little bit jumbled, and I didn't really have the stamina to roll up my sleeves and go fishing, because I like to look at rules and try and find rule sets. There was David Lanchester, is it, who does all of his books still. I had a browse through that, but a lot of them I thought the books are decent, but they're quite pricey when you compare what you can get in charity shops and the like. So, and even on eBay and stuff, you can get books quite cheap. If you compare to some of the prices there, yeah. So I didn't really. I was a bit sort of get phased for most of the time, to be honest. And so I met some friends who used to be competition war gamers, and they were there. But one of them was in a competition. he won the DBA competition. My friend Keith, he won the DBA competition there. So that was quite good. But yeah, so what else have I been doing? Right, I've got some books and things to show as well. So the sort of, and I know it's possibly that some of the traders can't afford it, but on the stand at Pendraken, they have a catalogue, so you can just pick it up, and browse through the catalogues, and choose what you want, which is brilliant, And yeah, there's quite a lot of them there. You sort of have to bit of a fishing trip to find what you want. Obviously, the big people were there. The War Games Foundry doing the Perry figures. I think that's who they are, and they're also previous Citadel and all that kind of thing. And Hero Ross, I wanted to have a look at theirs, but again, it was a little bit difficult to get in at the time. It was quite busy there, and I just didn't have the focus really to go into it. But yeah, so it was a good show. It's lovely seeing all the competition games. It'd be nice to have a bit more steer, I suppose, on what's actually going on, which games are going, and a bit of information, perhaps. I don't know, leaflet or something like that. And then maybe there was, I didn't see it, but yeah, but it's just a little bit of because a lot of good games being played, I'm sure, but it wasn't even clear which games were being played. That I didn't think anyway, but as I said, I was a little bit phased because it's a massive place. It's all kind of artificial lighting and hundreds and hundreds of people when I was there. So you kind of sort of yeah, it's quite fun, but it's good. I mean, it was about £12 to get in or something. So 12 or 15 pounds, £12 I think it was. Yeah, so yeah, it was good to see so many people. Right, so what have I been buying? So I've been, as I said, it's quite a funny episode, although I felt a bit ripped off. Right, so I saw this online and thought, Blood Red Desert Sands, the British invasion of Egypt and the Sudan, 1882 to 1898. Now, I'm actually interested in the early part of the period, mainly, the sort of Baker Pasha, Hicks Pasha, and the sort of Egyptian and British, mainly they were mainly Egyptian campaigns, and then the early British ones as well. The Desert Column, quite light, but also the previous battles to them would be better for me as well. But the Desert Column is an interesting where they went through the desert to try and rescue Gordon, but didn't make it. And then obviously you got the later Omdurman with Kitchener, which although it's interesting because a lot of the photographs are, they took a lot of photos on that campaign, so that makes it quite fascinating. But the Kitchen, yeah. So, but it's just good. So one-sided. I kind of lose a bit of interest there. No, so I bought this online. I thought, oh, fantastic. A nice book on Michael Barthrop. Now, I know him from previously because I had another book I bought online, and that book was back in sort of the 90s called War on the Nile. Michael Barthrop, War on the Nile, British Egypt and Sudan. So that's the two books. So what I was thinking, he's done another one, so it'd be quite interesting. Blood Red Desert Sands. They're actually exactly the same book. exactly the same book. They've just changed the title from War on the Nile, which was so I was pretty gutted with that really, because I was looking forward to reading up on it. This one was printed in 1990. Looks like, copyrighted in 84, but I think this print is 1990 from the look of it, which would coincide with what I remember when I bought it. And this one is so is absolutely identical, which I don't know, I've never had that before at all, but maybe it's something that's quite common when print runs are old. I don't know, they changed the title, and but yeah, that's two books of exactly the same. War on the Nile by Michael Barthrop, and Blood Red Desert Sand by Michael Barthrop. So yeah, I think I'll keep them both. One can be a working copy, and it's yeah, it's just one of those things, sadly. But so that's that. And then I also got I mentioned Baker Pasha. So these were sort of British officers who, or British colonial officers, I should say, who went and worked with the Egyptians, and he did a expedition. He did actually survive. But it was annihilated his campaign against the Mahdi. So he's got a question of honour, the life of Lieutenant General Valentine Baker Pasha. So yeah, just a read about him, a bit of a sort of colonial character, which is might be quite interesting. He was in the British Army, and they sort of obviously hire themselves out to Egypt. So yeah, and there's sort of Colonel Fred Burnaby. That's him. He was a sort of flashman type character who got killed during the Desert Column campaign. He was one of the Blues and Royals. Or Blues, I don't know, and Royals then, but yeah. So that's that one. Question of honour. Only a couple of quid. Didn't cost that much. I don't think. And then I've got Dervish War, Gordon and Kitchener. In the Sudan, 1880 to 1898. As I said, I'm most interested in the earlier part of the period. But there are some interesting photos in here from the actual campaign. A lot of the some of these are probably quite well known, but there's some quite good. There's a photo here of some of the actual battle they were going on. This is a photo of the Battle of Omdurman. MacDonald's brigade pouring fire at Osman el-Din's forces. The Khalifa's black flag. It's there. And the troops all looking at the Gordon's palace and the steps. I think, the steps where he reputed to have been speared. Was it, or from there? And this chap here is called Carl Neufeld, and I've ordered his book as well because he was a prisoner of the Madhist for quite a few years. It's about 12 years or something like that, and he was found at Omdurman when they relieved it, Kitchener. And then he wrote a book, so goodness knows what his experiences were like. But yeah, that's that guy there, Carl Neufeld. So there, that's called Dervish Wars, Gordon and Kitchener by Robert Nillans. What else have I? I quite like. I watch Jason Kingsley, who's a medieval enthusiast, also the chief executive officer of the company. What are they called now? Rebellion. They're a sort of computer games company. I don't know if there's still much in operation or not, but certainly Kingsley, he's a real enthusiast. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he does a lot of things with knights, and he's got horses, and he talks about medieval and the sort of how the peasants were and so on and so on. But it's an interesting channel, and he's obviously very passionate about it, which is always lovely to see. And it's not that glossy, which is quite nice. It's straightforward, straight to the point, and you either can enjoy watching it or not. But he's got a book, so I bought his book, Lord Blackthorn. Don't know how good he will be as a writer, but I thought I'd support him as he has brought me a lot of pleasure with his broadcasts on YouTube. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I've been doing the militia units for my 15 mil Monmouth 15 mil campaign. So that's coming on. I've said I've been the executor to a will, so I've had to be quite involved with that really, which has taken quite a bit of time. But I'm still got time to do things. So yeah, that's where we're at. So hopefully I'll bring you the painted version quite soon. I've got the cloth, which I'll probably start doing tonight for the trees. So I'll be cutting this cloth as trees and laying it in the sort of manner. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. in the manner of trees. Once I sort of put some PVA on it and obviously stick bits down, hopefully it'll look like woods, and paint it up in a way that hopefully be convincing. If it doesn't work, I'll get some woodland scenics or something. So that's where we're at. Andy Mac, I don't think there's anything more to add. No, not for the time being. Andy Mac at the second Manassas, or battlefield at Manassas, or Bull Run, whichever you prefer. Goodbye for now.